Tonight, environmental outrage, a child operating an earth mover on Trinity Inlet. Some astonishing vision tonight of what appears to be a child behind the wheel of an earth mover, clearing a sensitive mangrove ecosystem on Trinity Inlet. Authorities have confirmed they issued a permit for the clearing of a small section of mangroves to beach an old Sydney ferry, but are tonight investigating whether that permit has been breached.
Sunday afternoon, and a sight for sore eyes. A boy who looks no more than 12 at the wheel of a large earth mover, shifting sensitive mangroves and mud.
First of all, seeing a 10-year-old doing that work is just mind-blowing, and worries me that the environment's in that little kid's hands.
But credit where credit's due. He clearly knew what he was doing and had done this sort of thing before.
The young fella, he was doing a good job with that machine. He had moved a couple of mountains of soil.
John Hangoti from Cairns Sport Fishing raised the alarm about that. He also raised the alarm about this, an old Sydney ferry, the MV North Head, with a new home on high ground.
I was shocked. It's a heck of a landmark now. It'll probably never be moved from there again.
You might recognise this old boat of broken dreams. Sailed up the east coast. It was to be a floating restaurant at Port Douglas, but when it was abandoned and started to sink, it was towed to Cairns and has been idle ever since.
They somehow manoeuvred that monster boat into that hole and filled in all around it.
In a bid to get it out of the inlet, the Department of Fisheries today confirmed it had issued a permit for the landholder to clear limited mangroves and allow the boat to be beached. But it's tonight investigating whether that permit's been breached to give the property a water view.
Oh, it just breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart that people in this community just don't give a stuff.
Damien Murphy, Win News.
And ferry for a car. More on our new addition to the inlet. The father who let his young son behind the wheel of an earth mover on sensitive Trinity Inlet has today defended the move. George 3 also denied he's cleared too many mangroves from his waterside home to make way for an old Sydney ferry which now sits in the front yard.
There was never an easy answer. A century-old Sydney ferry, anchored in Trinity Inlet, left to sink to the bottom of the harbour.
The boat would have cost the taxpayer millions of dollars if it had sunk. Not to mention the environmental damage.
But that environmental damage has come at a cost. In a bid to haul the ferry onto this property, almost 30 mangrove trees have had to go. And while the Department of Fisheries did grant approval, it's now investigating whether too many were cleared to give the property a prime waterfront view.
It's a big boat. It had to be a big hole. I've got 127 metres or something of waterfront property. I don't need the view. I actually like the privacy.
Proudly showing off his new toy today, George 3 says he'll revegetate the area as he goes about refurbishing his historic ferry, pictured here in full swing.
Virtually everyone in Australia that's been here for their generation has had some relative that's put their feet on board this boat. Why let it sink in the water?
The ferry was originally to be pulled apart for its timber. Instead, it'll eventually be refloated as a new family home. George's 13-year-old son, who caused outrage after he was spotted operating an excavator in the middle of this ecosystem, will be right by Dad's side.
Timber work and just fixing the boat up, bit of washing. As you can see, it's a bit dirty.
Sarah Horsley, Win News.